So Derek Stingley, who was the most targeted cornerback that did not give up a touchdown last year, has put in his vote on who he believes should be the first quarterback taken off the board in April's draft. Let's talk about it. What's up, YouTube? Your boy back once again with another sport topic, and today we're going to talk some football, Houston Texans football. We're going to talk the NFL draft. We're going to talk quarterback because somebody has been rising up the boards for the past couple of weeks, but they ain't been playing no games. So how they been rising up the boards? We're going to talk about, we're going to break it down before we get in there, like I've been telling you before. If you're liking the content, make sure you liking the channel. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you comment all the videos. Make sure you watching the videos. You sharing all the videos on all social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, any type of social media platform you use. Make sure you share it on them same social media platforms. Also, follow me on social media as well. The link in the description below. And maybe try to get this channel growing and growing. I really appreciate that the NFL draft is about to come up. I got a lot of good content on the way. So y'all need to get subscribed to the channel. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Put them on game as well. Like I said, comment on the videos. I read all the comments, so make sure y'all comment the videos. Y'all sharing the videos. Y'all posting the videos. Y'all watching the videos. Let's get this channel growing and growing and growing. Now, I know a lot of people's number one quarterback is Bryce Young. I mean, Bryce Young was a tremendous talent. Bryce Young is, a lot of people's QB1. He has a lot of talent. He is absolutely one of the best players in college football. But y'all sleeping on CJ Stroud. And dare I say, CJ Stroud might even be the perfect fit for the Houston Texans. Now, Derek Stingley, I think, was on Von Miller's podcast, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been working out with CJ. And he says that he thinks that CJ is the number one quarterback in this draft. And I don't think he said the Texans should take CJ. I don't think that's what he said, but I think he alluded to, that CJ's the best quarterback in this draft. And like I said, if you've been looking, CJ's been, especially if you do the Lamont draft simulators, CJ is not only being thrown to be the number one quarterback now, it's they have him a lot of rankings of him being the number one prospect in the draft. Now, like I said, they ain't been playing no games. The last time we seen them was against Georgia, and that was back in early January. And back then, he was still the second best quarterback on the board behind Bryce, and fourth of all the players, because they both had Willie Anderson. They had Jalen Carter 1, Willie Anderson 2, Bryce 3, and CJ was ranked fourth of the whole big board. Now this is flipped on his head, and CJ's number one. Now, the reason for this, like I said, ain't been no games, ain't been no pro days, ain't been no combines. So why? How has he? What is going on? What is the information that's been going on? I think people are starting to watch a lot of his film. I really believe that's the case. That people are really starting to sit back and watching this boy's film. And when it comes to, and I know I brag about this with Bryce, because Bryce is good at this too. When it comes to CJ's mechanics, when it comes to CJ's footwork, when it comes to CJ standing tall and strong in the pocket, he's the best player in this draft when you're talking about those things. Has a nice, beautiful, deep arm. They're able to throw beautiful, deep passes on the time, on money, like accurately. Throwing from all different type of platforms, moving and able to throw, stepping up in the pocket. The pocket's collapse and the rush come down. He steps into the teeth of the defense, steps into the teeth of the pocket, and delivers ropes. Getting hit in his chest, getting hit in his chin, still delivering, making money all time. Looking throughout, scan the defense, going through his progressions. Boom, boom. Okay, let me hit the shakedown real quick. Just beautiful football, beautiful mechanics, and it's gonna be even worse. Well, better for him, but worse for the other prospects when we get to these pro days. I don't think none of these guys are really going to do anything at the combine. But when we get to the pro days, I don't think that anybody's going to outshine CJ in the pro days. The way his ball placement, his deep ball accuracy, his chemistry with the receivers that he's going to have, I don't think anybody is going to outplay him in this pro day. Now, pro day is not end all be all. Jamarcus Russell probably has the greatest pro day of all time, and he's arguably the greatest bust of all time as well. So you have to take pro days with a grain of salt. I don't know why scouts and NFL teams love pro days. I like to watch the film. And when you watch the film, the boy is balling. Now, like I say, my biggest gripe with CJ is that he falls asleep at the wheel. And there's plenty of times that he does a little bit too much, more than he should. Everybody has a bad game every now and again. Everybody has a bad half, bad quarter every now and then. He does it more than you want him to. I know he did it against I think it was Iowa. I think it was the first half against Iowa, if I'm not mistaken. I know for a fact it was the first half against Notre Dame. He did not look good in the first half against Notre Dame. Did not look good against Michigan as well. Neither time he's played against Michigan hasn't looked well. But he does happen to fall asleep at the wheel. Just have to call it is what it is. He has fallen asleep at the wheel, and when you watch him, like, what are you doing, CJ? I don't get it. I don't understand. But then when he wakes up and snaps out of it, he wakes up and snaps out of it. He might throw a pick six here and there, but he gonna throw 4 consecutive touchdowns right after that. Boom, 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 boom. Just beautiful football, beautiful footwork, beautiful mechanics, arm placement, throwing from all different type of platforms, sidearm, able to scan. Like, it's nothing from a throwing standpoint that this boy cannot do. Everybody want to questions talk about him being not mobile enough, him not running around, not being splashy like Bryce is. Because he doesn't have to. He plays in Ryan Day's offense. I think Ryan Day holds him back some because Ryan Day doesn't like the whole quarterbacks running around and maneuvering and things like that. He doesn't like those type of things. If you look at the guys that he's recruited, and I know a lot of people want to bring in this the Ohio State thing. Look at all Ohio State quarterbacks before Bryce Young. Before CJ Stroud. Sorry. You're talking about Troy Smith, who won the Heisman. Talking about Terrell Pryor. Talking about Braxton Miller, J.T. Barrett. Those are Urban Meyer recruits. And those type of style. None of those guys were ready to play in the NFL. None of those guys were NFL quarterbacks. Cardale Jones, that's another Urban Meyer guy as well. No, those guys are not. Now, Cardale Jones, it was a big, strong arm quarterback. He was more of a prototypical style of quarterback than the rest of those guys. Then you have Haskins. You have Burrow, you have Justin Fields, and now you have CJ. Justin Fields is the one who's not like that. Remember, Justin Fields was originally he was attending Georgia, and then he transferred from Georgia to Ohio State. So of course Ryan Day takes a talent like Justin Fields. In the process, he ended up losing Joe Burrow, who has won a national championship, a Heisman, and then the Fields been to Super Bowl #1 pick in the draft in 2020. But those guys have more of the same. Joe Burrow, Haskins, and CJ, they play more alike than the other guys who went to Ohio State. So I don't want to hit the whole Ohio State thing. And Ryan Day doesn't want those type of quarterbacks. Now, again, he took Justin Fields because he was a transfer. You get a top transfer, want to come to your school, you take that. You deal with that. But for the most part, he doesn't go after those type of guys. Those are not the type of guys he recruits. He recruits the guys like the Joe Burrows, like the Haskins, and like the CJ Strouds. And so I don't care about the whole Ohio State thing, and then that's part of the reason why I think like the whole him not running, because he shows you in the Georgia game when he was juking Jalen Carter, who a lot of people had after that game, before they going up to that game and after the game, having Jalen Carter as their #1 prospect in the draft. He got to put moves on Jalen Carter, the #1 defense in college football in Georgia. I know it's not the exact same defense that Bryce played in the national championship game a year ago, but it was damn near close and had the best player still, which was Jalen Carter. And CJ, even though they both lost in a losing effort, CJ looked better than Bryce looked in the national championship game against pretty much the same damn defense. Like, let's be real. Now I know what people say, oh, CJ got all these weapons, he got all these 5-star recruits. Remember, he had Olave last year, and he had Njigma, he got Marvin Harrison Jr., he got Abuka, he had Wilson. Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. He has had a lot of talent throwing the football to. Again, what's your point? Because last time I had the top five receivers in the NFL today, Joe Burrow had 2 of them on his college football team. He had 2 of them on his college football team. 2! And Jettas and and Jamar Chase. It has 1 of them now. You look at his team right now. He has Jamar Chase, and has Tyler Boyd, and has T. Higgins, and no one's saying, "Oh, well, Joe Burrow got all these talent around him," and y'all still call him number one quarterback, which the number two quarterback in the NFL, which he should be, number one overall pick, which he should have been. That doesn't knock off CJ's. That doesn't knock off CJ. There's plenty of quarterbacks that've had a lot of talent and didn't do nothing with it. Because last time I checked, both A.J. Brown and DK Metcalf were both on the same team at Ole Miss. Where their quarterback at? I don't even know who that was. Jarvis Landry and Odell Beckham were teammates at LSU at the same time. Where their quarterback at? Who was their quarterback? I don't even know who their quarterback was. I don't know who their quarterback was. I don't remember. I don't remember. Andre Johnson, who should be in the Hall of Fame, that's a whole conversation in itself. Andre Johnson was on the team with Santana Moss, Jeremy Shockey, Kellen Winslow Jr., Frank Gore, Willis McGahee, and Clinton Portis. Ken Dorsey was their quarterback, and Ken Dorsey got drafted in the 6th round. There's plenty of teams that have multiple quarterbacks. Alabama had four picks, 4 receivers, took it in the 1st round. Had 4 picks, took it in the 1st round 2 consecutive years. Both Tua and Matt Jones are in the 1st round picks. Nobody say nothing about the receivers that they had. And last time I checked, the year that Bryce won the Heisman, didn't Bryce have Jameson Williams, who was the 1st round pick? Didn't he have Mechie, who everybody keeps telling me that would have been the 1st round pick if he didn't get hurt? And that's the year he won the Heisman. He had talent around him. Oh, but now because he don't have the same NFL talent this year, it means a little bit more. Like, come on, bro. Like, he had talent too. He had talent around too. Now, I'll give you, I would take Marvin Harrison Jr. over all those receivers. All outside Andre. I'm not taking them over Andre. Or Jamar Chase and Jettis. Like we gonna take Jamar Chase and Jettis and put him out. Like of course he's not better than them. I'll take Marvin Harrison and like I said, and Andre. I'm taking Marvin Harrison over all those other receivers, so I give you that. Outside Jamar Chase, Andre, and Jettis, Marvin Harrison is a better receiver than those, or a better prospect receiver than those. I absolutely agree with that. But that doesn't concern me that he's had receiving talent, because maybe the reason why that receiving talent was elevated to the point that it was elevated towards was because of him. Because I know a lot of people tell me they don't like, a lot of people I talk to say they don't like Njigma. Like, a lot of people say they don't like Njigma. But Njigma is obviously going to be a 1st round pick, and Njigma, people think Njigma played well. Well, his quarterback maybe elevated him up to that status. Who knows? I'm just saying. The argument better, if you want to talk about the talent that CJ played with, the argument is better when you talk about the offensive line. Because he's played with an elite offensive line. I think he's played with probably the best offensive line in college football. And it's going to be hard to duplicate the offensive line. And because he's a quarterback who stands up in the pocket and takes hits, not that much, but take hits when he has to, and able to deliver the football, that protection that he had, you can make a case, okay, maybe he was protected a little bit more because he didn't have to scramble around. He was able to sit back and boom, boom, boom. Like, he was able to sit back comfortably. He wasn't flustered. He wasn't rushed that often. I would give you that. That's more of an argument. That right there is more of an argument. Okay, hey, he had a good offensive line. Bryce's offensive line ain't as good as his offensive line. I will give you that. Now, like, that's a little. Now we cooking with grease. That's a little bit okay. Now that's a little bit okay. Like that's a little bit. But when we're talking about just receivings, like I say, Bryce had weapons the year he won the Heisman. CJ's numbers have stayed the same. CJ's numbers look consistent across the board from Bryce. They numbers are CJ's numbers in back-to-back years are the exact same. Bryce the one that had a dip in production from a statistical stat standpoint. I know he missed a game, but like it's I think it's like 10 touchdowns less. So obviously he doesn't lose 10 touchdowns and missing a game and a half. He missed all of the A&M game and half of the game before, so you don't lose like 10 touchdowns. He wouldn't have thrown 10 touchdowns in a game and a half. I don't think he would have. I mean, I guess it's possible. It is possible, highly improbable, but it is possible that he could have thrown 10 touchdowns in that span, but I don't think so. So he's the one who actually kind of had dip of talent. But again, we got picks, multiple picks this year, multiple picks next year as well to put talent around him. And you don't want to put your quarterback, oh, well, he had too much talent. You don't want to put your quarterback in that situation, be like, oh, like, man, we ain't got no talent. Just go out there and do what you got to do. No, you want to put talent around him. You want to make the things comfortable. Again, I bring you Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had all the talent he had at LSU, offensively and defensively. He gets drafted to the NFL. They draft T. Higgins. They already had Tyler Boyd. They already had Joe Mixon. What do? They go out there and get another receiver. Constantly put talent around him. Like that. Like that's what you do. Like that. That's what you do. And I think once you identify your quarterback, that's what you do. Don't take away his number one target like you take away Hopkins. Don't do that. No, don't do that. You put talent around them. And this draft has a lot of speed receivers in it too. You know, you got Tank Dell, you got A.T. Perry, Zay Flowers. You got guys that you can definitely put around these quarterbacks. And so you can duplicate, maybe, I mean, obviously you're not duplicating Marvin Harrison Jr., but you might get him next year. Because you have 2 first-round picks to be able to move up. So you got other draft capital to move up. You want to put talent around them. And especially if they do go ahead and if they do go ahead and hire Cliff to be the OC, because at the time of me recording this video, we still haven't heard any word. We know he's been in Houston. They've been talking. I haven't heard exactly if he's gotten the job yet at the time of this recording. But if he's gotten the job yet, but if you do, I'm just operate. If you do get him. And I know, okay, well, boom, he recruited Bryce. Bryce plays a little sporadic, kind of like Pat Mahomes did, kind of like Baker Mayfield did, Johnny Manziel did, and also like Case Keenum and Kyler Murray did, the guys that Cliff has been around. But also, Cliff, even though, like I said before in another video, Cliff runs an air raid, but it's not a typical air raid. It's not a true air raid. It's air raid-ish, and it has other little pieces of offenses mixed into it. It's not a full true air raid. I think Bryce could flourish in this system, no doubt. But I think that CJ could possibly be even better. I really do. I think CJ in a air raid-ish offense is even better. I know it's not Bryce. I think Bryce, from an understanding standpoint, will understand it way easier because of he'll be able to understand it way easier because of him being under Bill O'Brien, and it'll be like learning Jap. It'll be like having an honor student putting him in a remedial class because like he just understand. Like, it'll be very, very quick pace. He'll understand everything because of the type of difficultness that he would have to endure with Bill O'Brien. But CJ, like I said, the way CJ is able to throw the football and step up in the pocket outside of Pat, it would give the offense that Cliff is designing an extremely new wrinkle. And really even more so than Pat, because Pat plays out the pocket. Pat moves around. Pat steps up in the pocket. But he steps up in the pocket more so now in Kansas City, more so than he did at Texas Tech. In Texas Tech, he moved around a lot. It would give this offense an extremely brand new wrinkle for him to be able to step up in the teeth of the pocket and deliver strikes. It will give this offense something from the Cliff Kingsbury version, dealing with Case Keenum, Johnny Manziel, Davis Webb, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes at Texas Tech, Kyler Murray, who else? Because when Kyler Murray was hurt, was playing Colt McCoy. It will give this offense a wrinkle that Cliff Kingsbury's offense, a wrinkle that Cliff has never had to utilize before, because he was dealing with quarterbacks who play out the pocket and play backyard football when things start getting scrambled, things start breaking down, playing backyard football. CJ doesn't play like that when things break around. When things start breaking in chaos, he steps up in the pocket. He steps up in the teeth of the pocket and still delivers throws. He doesn't get flustered. He doesn't run out the pocket. He steps up in the teeth of the pocket and delivers accurate passes, accurate throws, on time, on the money. And I think when you do that, also pairing with a running game like Dameon Pierce and the receivers and the weapons that you possibly could get in this draft, I think it'll be a huge recipe for success. I really do. Now, if they don't go with Cliff, if they go with Bobby Slowick and run the whole Kyle Shanahan Kubiak offense, I think it will still work well. I mean, because in that offense, you just have to be able to move some. That West Coast offense, you just need to be able to move some. You don't have. Now, I think it possibly would benefit Bryce a little bit more, because again, that offense would give, with Bryce, will give it a wrinkle that's never been seen before outside of RG3, because Matt Schaub and the rest of the guys can't move, like Matt Schaub and Garoppolo can't move, and that's part of the reason why they went after Trey Lance, because he could. So I do think it will give Bryce something. But again, CJ can move. We seen it in the Georgia game. CJ was able to move around. We seen it. We absolutely seen it. So I think that CJ is rising up the boards because they have actually sat down and watched his tape and break his tape down. And again, you're talking about a guy that's 6'3", 220 pounds. I know people are saying, well, I mean, size don't matter. I mean, even though Bryce is listed at 6 feet, 6'3", 220 versus 6 foot, possibly 5'11", 5'10", at 195. You got something like that. It's a conversation. It really is. It really is a conversation. But I do think that CJ has a lot to offer, and it could damn well be the best quarterback in this draft. Like, share, subscribe if you haven't, comment below if you haven't, click that bell, get my videos. I holla.